Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be doing a revisit of the Anbernic RG35XXSP, which is this nice little clamshell handheld, because we just got some new colors, and I think it was time enough for us to do a revisit on the entire SP and talk about it, and also what's new and different with this one. So it's been about 5 months since the release of the Anbernic RG35XXSP, Anbernic's clamshell device that ended up being extremely popular across the community and with me as well. I'm a big fan of it. They just released 3 new colors, transparent green, transparent red, and transparent white. And they sent me over the white to check out, and I figured now would be a good time to just revisit the SP and also see if there's anything new or changed in these colors. So at launch, I grabbed the blue Anbernic RG35XXSP, and I actually customized it with this cute little Squirtle sticker that I got at like a festival or something. I can't even find it, but that's where I got it. And I never mod or customize any of my devices. I kind of leave them stock. This was one of the rare first times where I actually did something to a device to kind of make it my own in a different way, because I really loved this handheld. This is a really good handheld in so many different ways. Everybody knows my love for the Retroid Pocket Flip, and so this is just another clamshell, and it's blue, and it also has MUOS, and it was just the perfect combination of things that Joey likes that made me happy for a device. MUOS is awesome, thanks to all of the custom themes, so if you're curious what my SP looks like, here's a quick look. I have random theme on start checked, so every time I boot up, it's a different theme in my curated list. Most are Pokemon related, obviously, but I do have some others for Persona and Super Smash Bros. And Zelda and so on. Credit to all of these theme developers for their awesome work. It really makes the handheld. Now games-wise, I've basically used it for PlayStation 1 and under. So a lot of Game Boy, Super Nintendo, NES, Genesis, and so on. And it feels right at home on here. Super enjoyable, nostalgic, and everything. I had some great experiences using the SP, and also with SyncThing integration, it's all in sync with my other handhelds. Now, unfortunately, I stopped using this a while back. It was actually around the time that stories were coming out about the exploding batteries. Now, the real scenario that we ended up finding out is that all of the H700 devices have issues with some USB-C to C charging cables or adapters and chargers and all of that sort of thing. It is like a weird combination of 3 different things. But the general idea is you should be using USB-A to C to charge these devices to avoid any sort of issues. And that's how I always charge my devices, so I didn't really consider it a concern for myself at that point. I was like, sure, I'll use USB-A to C because that's what I do anyways. However, it was always in the back of my mind that something could go wrong. And then my RG35XXH developed a bulging battery. Okay, this is not good. I'm starting to get scared now of what might happen because I have these H700 devices in my house and I kind of like my house. I don't want it to blow up. So I safely disposed of the 35XXH and then I stopped using the SP. And it wasn't because I wanted to. I love this handheld quite a bit, but it wasn't worth it for the remote chance of something going wrong. And look, I fully realize there is some level of being scared here or fear-mongering or that sort of thing, but it just wasn't worth it on the off chance that something might go wrong, that something might happen here, to continue using it when I just didn't need to. Now, I've seen others online having the same sorts of thoughts that I do, being a little worried about these devices and what might happen and all that sort of thing, because you obviously want to be careful with things like this. And then I saw the sentiment online that as long as you're sitting there watching the device while charging, it's perfectly fine. And in the most nicest way possible. Are you insane? Just for 1 second, listen to those words. As long as you are sitting there watching your device charge, it'll be perfectly fine. You want me to babysit a device in 2024 to make sure that it doesn't blow up or explode or anything like that, just so I could play on a handheld like this. A handheld that we could use so many other options that don't explode. But you want me to sit there and watch this to make sure it doesn't blow up. I'm sorry, what? No, I'm not going to babysit a device while it's charging. Pull your head out of your Okay, but the actual final straw for me was planning for my Europe trip of what devices I was going to bring, and realizing that if I had to bring the SP, I would bring a USB A to C charger. And that was the final straw. That single thing of having to bring along a USB A to C cable was enough for me to be like, no, I'm not doing that. I have USB-C cables for every other device I'm bringing. I'm not bringing on another cable just for one single device because it can't do charging properly. And so that was the biggest nail in the coffin, the final straw for me, the biggest eye-opener to me of, I love this handheld, but I can't use it. But I'm in a unique position where I don't have to use this handheld. I have so many other ones that I could use, and so I move on. But it just sucks because I like it. But anyways, here is the new Anbernic RG35XXSP, and it's not new, it's a revision, I guess, and it apparently is going to be affecting all colors. So it's not just this one, although they did release the 3 new colors that we talked about earlier. And so I was very curious, did they make any changes to that charging situation? Did they make any changes to anything else? And so we'll talk about that now. The very first thing that I noticed on the outside is that the buttons are now softer and not as loud. You'll recall from my review that I had no issues with the buttons. I quite like them where they are. And these just feel like an improvement in sound and feel. So overall it is a good change for everybody, and it didn't really take anything away. The D-pad, similarly, gets the same improvement, while being a bit looser. Both the D-pad and buttons have a looser feeling, not as tight as the original launch SP, and as far as I can tell, the rest of the buttons, the triggers, and shoulders are all the same. So the next step up was opening it, and I wanted to see if there was any differences on the inside where the board is. Removing the battery on both, and I can see that there is some sort of paper or separation that was added to the white, so the battery isn't directly touching the processor or the board. But that's all I can see from here, so let's dig deeper. Looking at both boards, and they're exactly the same. So any hopes for changing my fears is gone. But it does look like the only change they made is adding this paper-ish separation piece, which likely doesn't even do much or anything at all to stop heat. Even the board version and the dates are all the same. So I guess the question is it worth rebuying the SP for these new changes if you already have one? And I'm not sure that there is a reason to do so. You would have to really hate the D-pad and buttons and really hate how stiff they were to do it. But it's still another like $65 or whatever this is, unless you could find it on sale. So it's a lot of money just for that specific change. I think it's a good enough change that it should make new users happy. But for older users, it's tough. It is tough for me to tell you to go spend another $65 or whatever it is just for slightly better buttons and D-pad. So put it that way. The transparent white is actually really nice though. I would love to see the red and green as well, but they sent me the white and I'm actually really happy with the white. It looks nice. Otherwise, that's about it for me. That's all I wanted to talk about today. Either my fears are founded or unfounded or whatever they are, but they're my fears to deal with. Viva la Retroid Pocket Flip 2 to save the day. Maybe. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to yell at me for being scared about a handheld. Support me on Patreon if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.